Look at the big brains on Brad. Luca Nation episode 628 of Luca Tigers and Bronco Mind, the best sports card podcast in the world, featuring the best co-host in the world, Mr. Cage Lawyer, and the best slob in the world, Mr. Coach Goldberg.
Are you gonna lean into that slob
What are
thing?
you-
You gonna lean into?
Bro,
You
I
leaning
love
into the
it.
slob
I
thing?
live for it.
All right. Well, listen, we're Tigers.
I wore a hoodie 3
So
days in
we're
a
in
row,
Vegas.
and I worked out every single day.
You were kind of a slob. But you know what's funny?
Have
So
you-
I got Siegfried, Roy, and Cage here. I'm a full-on Tiger right now. I'm in Vegas. This is like appropriate for Vegas. I can't wear this in New York. So that's what's funny. Number two, I got here. I didn't really sleep too well last night, and I got the sun in my eyes on the plane. You know, no matter how many times I try to put the thing down, the sun's still coming in. I can't sleep. I get here, it's a little smoky. I just walked around, little bright lights and whatnot. My eye, I don't know if you can see, my eyes are red. They're like bloodshot, red. They're
It's a
not looking so
Visine. It
good.
happens all the time.
They're not to me.
Well, you're drinking warm Coke. So talk to me about this. You get there.
Yeah.
You have an hour to pass. You go do God's work. You walk through an empty hall of all the vendors.
Just it's cool.
Then you're like, let me go hit the slots. Out of all the things you could do, you hit the slots.
Well,
And you cash out.
I spoke to you, and I said I'll be ready. I'll be back in the room at 5:00. And I gave myself like 20 minutes to walk back to the hotel room from the location. And I guess it took me longer to walk there than back because on the way there I didn't know where the hell I was going. So I was looking at signs. I was kind of like trying to pay attention and walking a little slower. But on the way back, I just I knew where I was going. So it only took me about 10 minutes. So when I got to the elevator, I'm like, oh, it's $450. Let me throw $100 into this first slot that's right here. Some sevens, diamonds, Wheel of Fortune type thing. I don't even know what the hell it is. I got 10 minutes to kill. Andrew's not going to be ready. You weren't ready. I had more time. I could have won more money. And I put in, so I put in, I think I put in $200, 100 first, and that was gone in like 2 seconds. Then I put a second 100 in. I was down to like, my last spin. And I'm like, all right, whatever. 200, this will be it. I won't gamble anymore because I'm not going to have any time. I'm not a gambler. I'm not a huge gambler. So I put the money. I get down my last spin. I win like 20 or 30. Then you get the little things. They keep it going. Little spins here and there and the whole deal. And then I'm playing. I won like $400 on one spin. I'm like, all right, should I just take this? I'm up $200. Should I leave? I don't like leaving on a win. It's like leaving the last pack, without seeing if there's mojo on it, right? And the very next spin, it had like a bunch of sevens and like double sevens and stuff. And I'm like, it just keeps paying. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And like one line paid 40, another line paid like 100, and one line, which was like a seven and a double, paid like $1,000. So I my $200, I cashed it out. I got like $1,401. I got a little card. They don't give you money. That would have been a lot of coins to carry. Tick, 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 tick. I'm old. You used to remember slot machines. You actually got paid in coins. Filthy.
My grandma used to have the bucket.
Yeah, the bucket. You walk around with the bucket. Now I have I probably lost it already. I don't know where it is. But I took it. I came upstairs. So I don't want to be late. And I'm like, all right, let me. I'm gonna go find this thing. I don't know where it is. But I did find out why you. I'm gonna post this. I did find out. Check out that artwork behind me. Pretty nice. Right? I did find out why you didn't come. I know we're
Are you
claiming
walking
that
around
it's
Vegas
like
with that shirt on?
fuck yeah.
That
I
whole
am.
time? This is you.
This is me. I'm a tiger.
This is you.
So I found out why Andrew's not coming, guys. Check this out. See what that says? This hotel uses advanced smoking detection sensors that monitor for and specifically detect marijuana smoke. A $500 fee will be added to your room if detected. So now I know why Andrew didn't come. They're on to him, folks. They're on to him. No weed smoking in the room. $500 fine. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
It's worth every penny. It's worth every penny.
Just charge me. Just charge me.
You know what's crazy? The psychopaths that build hotels don't let you open windows.
Because psychopaths who visit hotels go out those windows.
Dude, if you were to kill yourself, it's not the hotel's responsibility to avoid that from happening.
And if only that was the way the world works. So, Mint Collective. It was pretty cool walking around. I got to give some credit to Marino, Ezra, the collectible crew, Jason. Alex putting out a crazy amount of content, leading up to it. Saw Chris Hodge, popped him on the live with Christina. They asked me if we were live. I said no. I told them next time we'll do it in the metaverse. They didn't think that was funny. Saw Prism God. Saw Rip Pack Slabs after I was done with the stuff. They didn't have the right badge, so I helped them carry some of their stuff in. And I'm trying to think what the heck else. Yeah, man. I mean, it's fun. If nothing else, I don't know how this is going to go. I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm sure I'm going to be tired as hell. But I'm sure it'll be great. It's cool to see this. I mean, this is sports cards. And it's a major thing in Vegas with a lot of people and a lot of money and a big setup. And it's a draw, which is cool, man. That sports cards, the hobby we talk about, the hobby that we get to cover, is a draw. I like it.
You got to have a show in Vegas. It just makes sense.
Well, what's cool about it, and as you guys get to see more content and hear more people talking about it over the weekends, it is when we did the shows after the National. Do you remember what we were talking about? Like there should be a Breakers Row. There should be but like bringing the show into the next century. Having things people want to hear talked about. Better setups that let you know whose booth you're at. Every one of the booths has a sign right behind it. Uniform put by Mint Collector. You don't have to bring your own sign. Like that's who you're talking to. Here it is. So you know who it is. Oh, these are those guys. Like that's a cool little thing. You know what I mean? You should have that. And the setups are just they're pretty sweet, man. It's a pretty wide open space, and it's more this century than last, which is kind of cool. So we'll see what happens. It's nice. It's another step in the next direction.
In the right direction, huh?
Well, the next direction. I don't know if it's right. But it's the next. Maybe someone will see this and take it forward even more and do even additional stuff after this. So
is there anything you want to talk about? Okay, so we talked about Mint. Had a little banter.
What do I want to talk about? I'll give these guys a little quick story, right? Cool. So I get on the plane today. It's supposed to leave at like 8:25 a.m. out of JFK. Get on a plane. I sit down, and a woman sits down next to me on the plane and says she has anxiety flying. I said, all right, well, don't worry about it. It's fine. I've flown a bunch of times. You'll be fine. Everything's great,
This is her opening line?
Yeah, she sits down. She says, I just want to let you know I have anxiety when I fly. I said, okay, well, put on a movie. Grab some peanuts. Tell the flight attendant, you need a biscotti or whatever the heck it is, So, yeah, she was definitely hyperventilating. But it got even more fun because about 3 minutes after she sat down, one of the flight attendants approaches the person in the row behind me and says, you're going to hate this. Says, can you just put your mask up? We're on the plane. You got to wear a mask. It's got to be covering your whole face. Got to be covering your nose and your mouth. And he kind of shrugged her off, and she asked a second time. And he kind of shrugged her off again. So she left, and she came back to make sure that he was doing it. And he didn't have it fully covering his mouth. It was kind of down a little bit. And she goes, I've asked you 3 times now to put your mask all the way up. And he says, no, you didn't. Now you're lying. Now, she had only asked twice at that point in time. This could have been construed as a third time, but now it became a battle between this guy, not about whether he's wearing his mask, about whether or not she had asked him 3 times, and that she was now lying to the whole plane about how many times. He was not a lawyer, but it was his birthday, if you believe him, and he was ready to go to Vegas and have some fun, but he did not want to put a mask on. So she left, and a gentleman from the flight crew came over and said, listen, I just spoke with the pilot. Everything's fine. We want to get you to Vegas. We understand it's your birthday. I just need you to say yes, that you are willing to wear your mask and you plan to keep your mask on during the flight. Can you just say yes? And he said, I already answered that. He goes, okay, I understand. I just need to hear it now myself. So I'm going to ask you, will you wear your mask for the duration of the flight, covering your whole face? And he said, I already answered it. He wouldn't just say the word yes. I'm cringing here because it's remember we talked about Calvin Ridley? Give your lawyer something to work with? I want to be like, dude, just say yes, and then run around the plane screaming with no mask on when we're in the air. Like, what are you doing? Just play the game. But in his sort of defense, the fact that me 8 feet away or so heard all this is also a problem. You know what I mean? Like the flight attendants were almost like putting him on blast. They're embarrassing him, which you don't need to really do. So anyway, long story short, too late for that, but I like you guys to share in my fun. The flight attendant
took him off.
Says, you got to get him off. Got to get him off the plane. He's got to get off the plane.
He's going to be a problem.
He says, no, I'm not getting off the plane. And they're like, we're going to get the police. You're going to be escorted off. Like, if you just leave now, Delta will book you on another flight later today. But if you have to have the police get you, you can't fly. And with this, the woman next to me gets up and runs to the front of the plane. She's hurling all over the place, right?
Oh my God.
Another flight attendant comes, sits down next to this guy, and basically like calms him down, and I think explains to him that he's on the brink of being on a no-fly list for the rest of his life, that he should just leave the plane and deal with it from the airport, get on the next one. He's probably here already. He's probably
They've thrown him a million landlines.
Yeah, I mean, yes, how many times, right? And he came back in to get his bag and didn't have a mask on. And then the flight attendant came and took the woman's bag sitting next to me from under her seat and just never came back. So the fat guy here had 2 seats. Woo!
This is all in your row?
No. The woman next to me and the row behind me. The guy was in the row behind me, and the woman next to me is the one yakking.
Did you turn around and watch him, or you're facing forward hearing this as they talk about it behind you?
He was one row behind me and 1 seat over, so I could see the whole thing. I could see the entire thing. So it was definitely. I mean, like we didn't leave. We left like 25 minutes late because of it. And
That's not terrible. That could be like a 2-hour ordeal.
That could have been much worse. And we got up in the air, and I'm happy to go. And I posted a story of my soda getting its own seat. It was great.
Dude, what if that happened on the flight and she threw up on you?
Oh my God, that's happened. That's happened to me on a plane. I had somebody puke in the seat in front of me, and it went all over the floor. And my bag was underneath. Oh, it was just
it
horrible.
Splashed.
Oh, just everywhere.
And dude, you know how I've flown a lot recently in the last year during COVID, Mexico, all that stuff. Your eyes are killing you. I get some Visine, get some red.
You can tell, right? They really hurt. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a smoke here or what's going on.
Dude,
my eyes really hurt. You could see
smoke. I mean, you're rubbing them. I can't see your eye color, but you're rubbing them.
They definitely hurt.
I've flown a lot, but dude, the flight attendants are in a tough spot because they have all of these rules that they have to follow. And it's already kind of like a situation that's volatile. A bunch of people in a metal tube flying through the air, which is honestly crazy enough in itself. It's not the time to make like a virtue signal statement. And you know how I feel about masks, Cage. I haven't had a single issue. Just do what they ask you to do, man. They're not in a great position either. And dude, we flew to Mexico with the family. Once you get up, they start giving out drinks and all that stuff. They don't care.
Right.
They just have rules to follow when you have to take off. And it's like, dude, they don't care anymore. They understand that it hasn't been an easy situation for people. Most of the flight attendants though. And I just no need to give them a hard time. Their lives are difficult in and of itself during this whole COVID thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on. You think this is going to go well? Imagine you get to stay on the plane. You think your Diet Coke is not going to be all shook up and splaying all over? You're signing up for a bad 6 hours after that. You're not getting any pretzels.
And I'm someone who, how I felt today. A lady was running outside in Mexico with a mask, which I thought was
slightly
absolutely
weird.
crazy. Wusa.
But yeah, so anyway, that's how my day started.
All right. Dude, I got to tell you, man, I don't know if this is the hobby in general, maybe just a loud few minority or I don't know, maybe if you are bored, you give me a good piece of advice. You're like, Andrew, maybe you just gamble on bets because you're bored. And it's kind of true. Like when you have nothing to do, you kind of do dumb shit.
You want some excitement.
A break in Vegas with models is on brand for Vegas.
Okay, but before you go too far down the slob line, all right?
Dude, this is someone who's never been to a strip club.
Who's never been to strip club? The models,
I've never been
the
to a strip
breakers.
club.
That's
Never.
not the point. The point is, listen, it's optics for the hobby, right? It's optics, and those breakers have women breakers. So think about
The
it.
models aren't slaves. They're
think about
choosing
it from
to
that
do this to
perspective.
make money.
Yeah, no.
They can leave.
And I get that. And if you want to go down the argument road, right, where UFC is a big sponsor of the show here, and UFC has ring girls, and they're paid to go into the ring and tell people what round it is, wearing a bathing suit. I understand all that. What I'm saying is, your brand is your brand. You are your brand. Whether it's right, wrong, indifferent, whether you have a problem with it, whether it's on brand with Vegas,
It's very on brand. It's very on brand.
then that has to be what their brand is. The people who
Who's
broke
that?
last night, the breakers, who did, was it Leighton, right? Leighton and Blez were the breakers. I think Leighton was the breaker. They're the ones that had the models, right? Then now their brand is Vegas style models, scantily clad women. That's their brand.
That's not a
now
brand.
they had
Their
to come
brand is
out.
they're entertainers.
See, I'm gonna come down on a different side of this than you because
You're allowed. We haven't talked about this, and for the audience, there's benefit of having discussion on both sides.
there's a different way of doing it, right? Because there's a different way. What's the positive of it? Tell me, you have no problem. What is the gain? What is the gain from having that there during a break of cards?
Retention of audience on the live.
So, what are you giving for retention of audience? Like, what's the downside? No. What's the downside? In order to get something, you have to give something, right? So they now know that they are going down a path for audience retention, for views, for hits, for more likes or whatever it is.
They're putting on a show.
The male audience, they are going to
99% of the hobby.
But they're okay. But listen.
That's time out. That's not an opinion. That is a fact.
That's true.
7.3% of the hobby is male. I wish it would be more female.
You say you wish it would be more female, and then you come out and say that you don't have an issue with this, and that is the problem, and that's why it won't be more female. And you can't reconcile those two.
Because Blez and Leighton.
You froze for a second.
Skimpy break. Women don't want to enter the hobby. They're not the hobby. They're just two guys doing businesses in the hobby.
The women who are not gonna like that. They're not gonna feel like this is something they want to be a part of. They're not gonna want to bring other ones in because here they are breaking and making content and being women of the hobby, starting their own businesses, and they're saying to themselves, "Okay, this is what the men in the hobby think the women in the hobby should be doing." That's how they're going to read it. And that's wrong. It shouldn't be like that.
So tell me if this is a fair argument or this is slob.
Shoot, man, shoot. You could be a slob.
Breaks.
You're a little slob.
Do all of their breaks without shirts on.
Yes.
That's also a representation of all males and what the entire
I think it's different, man.
Or is that their brand?
No, so if they themselves want to objectify themselves by showing their belly buttons, that's fine. But by bringing a model in a bathing suit as part of what you're paying someone to do, as part of what your brand is putting out there, that's very different than if Leighton breakers themselves were out there with their belly button showing. That's different. It's a completely different story. What you need to do for a second, and listen, because 97% of the hobby is 97% of the hobby, I get. I'll probably be on the minority in this, and that's fine. I'm willing to stay out on the ledge here. Put yourself in the position of some of the women in the hobby that you know. Some of the people who have worked their butts off in this hobby. People like Mama's Breaks, people like Black Jaded Wolf, people like Alec Jaimo, right? People who are trying to, build a name for themselves, build a business for this, doing what they do. Right? And now you have this thing. And keep in mind, it wasn't just a break on a Friday night. It was the most massive event, if you believe, the promotion of it, $1 million break, right, of Flawless, with basically everybody paying attention, everybody tuning in, sold out in 2 seconds. And what the people who put that on chose to do was they chose to involve women, but not involve women as breakers, not involve women as people who were going to talk about the cards that got hit, like the Pokemon break. It's like, oh look, the Bulbasaur, it's worth $175,000. They didn't have Jess the breaker from Bleecker do it. They didn't have they have women breakers that work for them. They didn't do it that way. They decided that to involve a woman in the hobby is to hire someone to stand there in a bathing suit. And again,
I see. They're saying your role is not to break, even though there are women breakers. Your role is to stand over there and look pretty.
I'm not saying that was so. It's tough to get into someone's brain. I can't. I don't know the mens rea. I don't know the guilty intent over here. I can't get into the brain of Leighton and Blaise. But if I could, I'm sure that wasn't the intention. I'm sure the intention, like you said, is entertainment, retention of eyeballs, understanding, what the makeup of the hobby is. But what you need to UFC, do, and what they need to do,
in between rings, a girl.
I just said that, dude. You don't listen when I talk. Either that or it's broken up. So I just talked about the ring girls. I said, yes. Okay. But do me a favor. Close your eyes for a second. Close your eyes for a second, and put yourself in the shoes of one of the women in the hobby. And when they see that, what do they think? Don't put yourself in the 97%. Okay, put yourself in the 3%. And think when you tune into that, right? What do you think? You're Christina's PC, who just basically helped put this whole conference on here. Probably did a better job than any of the 97% of men out there could do, right? You're Alec Jaimo, who's hosting the whole damn thing, right? Black Jaded Wolf, I saw her when I was in there walking around live, setting up with a whole team of people that she's basically deploying to do different things throughout the weekend, right? The first thing they see in this big break is, yes, please, put yourself in those shoes.
So I can never put myself into other women's, 100%, but I'm trying to. I don't feel that what one woman does has...
That's not the point. Okay, that's not what the women did. What the women did was fine. It's what the breakers did. It's what the men in the hobby did. Right?
I would like for next year to be women breakers. I think that should be an initiative.
And I'm fine with that.
I think they should do that.
I'm fine with that. And if they did this again, I'm sure they're not going to do it.
I don't think Blaise and Leighton are a representation of the hobby. They're two businesses trying to make money, and they put on a show. If you want a different show, bring on different breakers. You could bring on vintage breaks. He would do things way differently.
I understand that, but they have to understand the blowback
the tone and
that is going to be caused. No, I mean, no one's saying they broke the law, right? No one's saying that the 97% that you are a part of are going to have an issue with it, right? And maybe they did have better retention. Maybe people did stay tuned in because it was a boring ass break. Maybe people, maybe it was a draw. I honestly don't know, but you trade something for that, right? You may get more viewers, but you are going to get some blowback. You are going to get some people talking about it. And we're not going to solve this here. We're definitely not. But if we really are telling truths when we talk about expanding the hobby and having women in the hobby and, making sure that they have a role in the hobby, that was not the way to do it, in my eyes. I didn't say there's anything wrong with it. I didn't say anybody broke any laws. And if the goal was to get more people watching, I'm sure it was accomplished. But
isn't the real solution to that to get Mama's Breaks, to get Black Jaded Wolf, to get Jess from Bleecker, to have that reach where next year or at a next event they do that break? And I think no one would complain about that at all. I think we all want that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be that far. Like I said, I'm pretty sure.
I think it would be hilarious, honestly, if they took Blaise and his brother and they were shirtless on camera behind the scenes while the girls were doing the break.
So we're taking
now. Would that not be funny?
We're taking it to the next step, which is humor of it, which is great. And yes, I think that if we could all kind of come back to a point of positivity and not want to beat each other up about it and just, okay, it's a learning experience.
Entertainment.
I get it, dude, but it's
We're not
big
selling
money.
life insurance.
It's business, but it's people's livelihood now. Over the last couple of years, people have come into this, and this is their livelihood, right? And I understand where you're coming from, but I also understand how somebody would find that objectionable. And yes, I do hope that in the very near future, the breaks are, they are a little more representative of, of everyone in the hobby. Like I said, I'm pretty sure those guys have women who break for them. And that would have been an interesting offset, if you know what I mean. Like your carbon neutral stuff. You can go ahead and destroy the environment as long as you buy your carbon credits. So,
hey, I said that.
You did. I'm giving you credit for it.
Carbon neutral.
I'm giving you credit for it. So yeah, I mean, listen, that's fun stuff. I'm trying to think I'm hoping it's a hobby, like a drama-free hobby weekend. I'm hoping, there's no fisticuffs. I'm hoping everybody kumbaya. I hope these red eyes go away. They don't hurt as much now. Must be looking at you.
More fisticuffs. I think there should be like a three round type of UFC fight.
I mean, listen, I will tell you that would be fun if they somehow finagled like we could get in the cage. Like that would be interesting.
Oh yeah,
right. That would be interesting. So I gotta tell you, we're recording this at like 5 something. I'm supposed to be speaking in an hour or two. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So that should be fun. Tune in.
Can you let people know on your secret? You never know what you're talking about.
That's true. This is true. That's what makes
here's
it fun,
the thing.
man.
It's funny, man. It's cool that people start taking our clips and kind of maybe take them out of context or in context, or whatever. But I'll tell you, a blessing of doing an episode every single day for 625 days is we sort of have a track record of who we are, what we stand for. And honestly, like, I'm proud. Like, I am proud of what we've built. I'm proud of our community and I'm proud of our team because we do our best. And of course, it's not 100% of the time, but we do our best and we have the intention of leaving others better than we got them. Whether that's, using our relationships and, someone who's in Canada, they struggle getting their cards back from a company. We say, because of customs and all that, we say, send them to our PO box. We'll help you out. We'll send it to Canada. Little thing, took very little effort. Shout out to you, Cage, for helping. But like you did the bulk of that. I just hit print the label. But
it was just a heavy box.
It was a heavy box. It was 16 pounds.
It was a heavy box.
Well, like, seeing that, HJ might not be holding up their end of the bargain in December and leaving money on the table, going with another company and trying to get you guys, okay, we'll take a pay cut, but let's get more free submissions for our community. So I'm proud of what we built, and I really am proud of kind of what our community is about. We're going to make tons of mistakes as we keep growing, as there's more attention on us, as there's more eyeballs on us. I know your anchor numbers are record numbers, but YouTube, we've done better than we've ever done before on YouTube. And shout out
you guys
to
got to watch this one on YouTube. Check out my shirt. You got to watch it on YouTube. I am basically a tiger, folks. I'm the Tiger King over here. Tiger Cage. Listen, what I'll take from what you just said is, guys, we've done this a million times, and the two of us combined are nearly 80 years of life on Earth here. It's true, right? When you combine our age, we're nearly been here nearly 80 years, right? So, but especially in the hobby,
between the two of us, we almost have 42 years of collecting experience.
Well, so but listen to where we're going, right? It's we're still learning something every day. We learn in the hobby, we learn in this content thing, and I don't think we really ever intend to be slovenly. I don't ever think you intend to be a slob. I mean, you do wear that hoodie a lot, which is cool, but I mean, I don't think it. The intent is never to come on here 600 and something times every single day and come out and go after someone. I mean, if it is, you'll know, and probably they'll deserve it. But bear with us. We're on our way through this stuff still, almost 2 years into the game, just like you are. But I will tell you the benefit of doing this every day. We just got to have an interesting conversation. And some would probably say an uncomfortable conversation, right? A conversation that a lot of people wouldn't want to talk about, right? This is one where someone's going to be right, someone's going to be wrong. No matter what, I probably upset someone there, and you probably upset someone there. And we're probably going to get comments like, what's wrong with Cage? Why is he being an idiot about this? Why is he being a fuddy-duddy? and we're probably getting comments like Andrew doesn't understand. I can't believe how insensitive he's being. We still want to talk about it because clearly it's an issue that the hobby is facing. It's something you guys are all talking about. And I hope you guys are entertained by it. I hope you guys find some value in it. If nothing else, just realize, it's something we're talking about too. And we can talk about and continue that conversation with you. And we did not prep for this. I got on a plane, I walked around live and got back to the hotel room, had a warm Coke Zero and said, Andrew, let's do an episode. I didn't know he was going to bring that up, but I probably should have.
It's what we do all the time. And it's funny with like the V-Friends cards. It's really funny because we record everything. We were most of the comments that we get about those cards. We were those guys a year ago in May. Yep. Literally, like I urge you guys to go back and listen to the episodes when V-Friends was releasing. Like I don't know, like I feel very kindred spirits with our audience because we felt that way too. We're trying to understand.
Yeah, I remember when they were released in May of last year, and I said, "This is ridiculous. Art by a third grader. Who the hell would buy this? It's a cash grab. You name it, the whole deal." I was really on a roll that week. I was saying the same thing about the Bored Apes. It probably cost all of you a lot of money, including me. So,
but you would learn, right? Like, and I think that's the blessing because you don't want to make the mistakes again, and you could learn a lot making your own mistakes. But imagine if you don't have to make the mistake because someone else you made that mistake. Doesn't that set you up to be more successful? Doesn't that kind of avoid pitfalls? That's such a. I wish I had that. Being the oldest child in the family, think of even that. If I go that route, you guys know out there, the oldest child in the family, you have to step in all the holes so the younger siblings could like skip over them. So
100%.
Me drinking in high school, my parents were furious. My sister, they encouraged because they see it's not that big a deal. Like, you want to have a party? Come on over. Let's have some fun.
So funny. Well, listen, guys, I don't have a play for you today. I don't know if Andrew does. I mean, I can make one up, but I plan to, call my kids now and then jump over to the Mint Collective. I apologize. Normally we have more to talk to you about, but we got a nice little topic there. But I spent 6 hours and change on a plane today. So
guys, here's what we're going to do. We're also going to have two new, maybe not new, but two different segments that we're going to start introducing for you guys. We'll try to do them regularly. We're working on it. If you're on YouTube and you're a subscriber, we're going to have like the wall post. And one is we're going to bring back the weekly Q&A episode, Coffee with Cage. We're going to do that more often. And we're going to try to roll back Would You Rather. I don't know if that's going to be a weekly thing, awesome. Bi-weekly. So submit your topics for who do you want to see on that, right? Like a Would You Rather comparison. What's cool about that is you get to compare the player performance, but also the card prices. Because I think that's the difficult thing in sports cards is, okay, you compare Trey versus Luka or Ja versus Luka. You compare them as players and their potential, but you also have to understand their card prices, values, and which cards to buy and the set. So
I like
we're going to do Would You Rather and the weekly Q&A episode.
And Coffee with Cage, what I'm most excited about, we've already had 2 people mint Tiger NFTs with coffee in the cage. So you guys, the 2 of you who are out there, you're coming on the show. We're gonna schedule with you. We'll get you on the show. You get to ask a question right there live on the show. So find a couple. I think there's 50 of those total in the print run there, or 20 something. But we've only had 2 of them minted, so that could get interesting. That could get fun. And one more thing I'll tell you guys, there are going to be a bunch of freebies. I already got a bag. I opened up a Panini giveaway that every signature has like a white sparkle Panini UFC card. I got a Nate Diaz white sparkle. Pretty rare. I think those are like out of 20. Everything I get, we're going to be giving away. Maybe I'll come on later tonight after a presentation. Maybe I'll be smoking a cigar. I'll go live. I'll do a giveaway. I'll mail them all out next week. I got some artwork. I didn't even look in the Topps bag that I got. I'll give away the damn bag. But whatever I get, whatever gets handed out here, we want to share with you guys who are not here. Make you feel like you're able to be part of what it is we're doing. So I did see I got a Nate Diaz white sparkle, which is a really cool UFC card. So that's going to somebody. So kind of stay tuned on the weekend. I got a lot of messages. Hey, walk around the show when it's set up, do a live like Andrew did for us at the National. That was awesome. I said, I will do it. No problem. Make those requests, guys. Seriously, because I won't do as good of a job as Andrew did because he really did. I felt like I was there. I was like, God damn it, I want to get on a plane a day earlier. But make your requests. If you want to see something, shake and bake.
Shake and bake.
El Diablo.
You're in front of the camera, guy. I just do this really because I got nothing else to do. I'd be gambling all day. Do this show was it?
If you were here, I would give you the $1,400 that I just won and say, go ahead. Just don't lose more than
Idiot.
that. I would just give it to you.
I would lose it, and then I would go on tilt and lose my own shit.
No, you wouldn't. Yeah, I would take all your money. I would say, here you go. You want this $1,400 for free? If you lose it, fine. If you win it, great. That would be the deal. That way you don't lose any.
I have such a calmness about me when I don't gamble. It's really incredible.
There you go. Doesn't really take much. I watched a terrible movie. I watched that The Saints of Newark movie, the Sopranos prequel. I watched that on the plane. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. I didn't watch any previews of it. Like I was excited. I was a Sopranos fan. I thought it was gonna be about Tony Soprano. It had nothing to do with him.
Why didn't you watch Creating Anne?
What? No, Inventing Anna. Not Creating
Anna.
Anne. And I did watch that, and it's amazing. And you should watch it. It's all about faking it. I watched every episode. It's all about faking it till you make it, man. You're gonna love it. Slob. Dude, that's a funny word. I read that, I was dying. I give them some credit. I get the people who make some of the content that's out there. It's funny stuff, man. You might not find it funny.
Midgets firing midgets.
Oh my god, it's just funny. It's just funny stuff. I read it to my wife. She was dying laughing. She's like, "That's just a funny word. Slob's a funny word. It's just funny." She calls me a slob. So I think that's why she likes it. She's right. I am a slob.
Too, dude. And I think one of the best things about friendships or haters, I kind of think of them the same sometimes, is they'll point out your weaknesses. They'll point out your flaws in a lot of ways. Like we always talk about, well, we'll wrap with this, how like our generation, maybe our issue is that we all think we're so special. Your generation, you graduated college, you didn't get a chance to think, what do I want to be in this life? Where will I?
No.
Maybe I'll go to Bali and find myself. You were like, I'm going to go to work because I have debt and no one's paying for anything.
Since September of 2001, so we're over 20 years, I've never been out of work ever. And I take a vacation for a week, never more than that. And when I switch jobs, I leave a job on a Friday and I start the next one the following Monday. 20 years. I have paid debts, man. I took a lot of loans to pay for this education. And it's paying off now, finally. I'm in Vegas at the Mint Collective. Caged lawyer. What do you think of this?
How to build $1 million collection.
I'm gonna give you my intro. I may be asked off of this tomorrow. So tomorrow, Mint Collective has asked me to MC a DraftKings, I believe, Paul Pierce giveaway. So people they're gonna be putting their names in. So he's going to be autographing, I think, basketballs, maybe like one of ones on stage, like, signing them. So this is what I plan on saying when I get out there. I plan on saying, guys, I was going to say no to this. I'm a New Yorker. This dude, Paul Pierce, the truth. He's from Boston, and New York and Boston. It's like we don't mix. But
oil and vinegar.
I was told that after I do this MC thing, I could go out on the town in Vegas with Paul Pierce after hours. And we all know how he does the town. So I said, sign me up. Let's go. Going out to the club with Paul Pierce. What do you think? You think they're going to let me do that? What do you think? Do you think I'm going to get thrown off the stage? And Paul Pierce
I see
my
why
ass?
you're so beloved by even our haters. That's the amazing thing. Even the people that don't like our show love you. It's an incredible quality.
Yeah. Well, listen, I may try it. I may see if I can get away with that. Let's see what happens. This will be great content. Paul Pierce kicking my ass on stage. All right, Luca Nation. Oh, it's a lot of fun. We love you guys.